And we are here. We are live. Welcome to Numbskull News, your favorite live stream, your favorite podcast, your favorite show for absolutely no reason. It's not like you really get anything out of it. It's not like there's real information here, just a lot of crap. But if you got nothing to do on a random Saturday afternoon, if you're done mowing your lawn, if you're done checking the air pressure in your tires, then maybe you have a few spare moments for old Numbskull here. Now, I decided to do this. I've been meaning to do a live stream, but I've been getting my ass kicked at work, so I didn't have time all week to do a freaking live stream. So, got a few moments to myself, finally. You do a little bit of a live stream for all of you almost fans out there. Mr. Monkey says, what's up? Actually, I'm going to quote you later, Mr. Monkey says. I wrote down a quote you left with Greg Flugar on one of his live streams, which I thought was, I thought was really good. So you're going to get quoted today. You didn't even have to become a channel member to get a quote. Look at there. Look at there. It's not like I have memberships or anything. I mean, what do I have to offer? Hey, join the, for what? I'm going to give you a shout out. I don't know. That ain't worth money per month. Oh, you can do some like extra content. Probably not. Probably not. Maybe in the future I'll think of something, because to me, you can't have a membership without actually providing real value. I can't just snatch people's money and give them a big ball of crap. It's got to be, like I said, there's got to be some value. There's got to be some reason for it. Well, let's start with some future video announcements. Now, I have done a video called The Rise of BYU, and thank you to all you wonderful BYU fans out there. I think that video got over 8,000 views on it, which, for me, that's a lot. That's a lot. My biggest videos are usually between 1,000 and 2,000 views. So over 8,000, that's rarefied air for me. And damn near 200 subscribers off of that thing. Again, I mean, usually, my most successful videos, I might get 5 or 6 subscribers, but like 200, that's amazing. So I got to thank all of you people, BYU people, Mormon folks out there for the love. I thanked you before, but I, got to do it again. And I also did The Rise of Texas Tech, did that a couple days ago. Not as successful. I mean, come on. I'm praising Texas Tech. I'm highlighting this big brand in Texas over there in Lubbock. And, a couple hundred views, not, okay. But I'm like, yo, BYU showed up in a big freaking way. In Texas Tech, sure, whatever. We know we're on the rise. We ain't got to watch your video. Okay. All right, we'll see what happens next year. You better make the playoffs. You better make the playoffs anyway. But I'm going to do it again. The next one I'm going to do is The Rise of Colorado. Yeah. So we'll see what kind of views that gets. I don't care. That's what I want to do. And I'm thinking maybe The Rise of SMU. Maybe. Because it's, it's kind of an interesting story. And also, I'm going to continue the, in the, a little call back to Golden Blue Dude. I want to keep it up. Anyone have a Get It Gang video idea? In other words, you have an idea for a video you want me to see me make, leave a suggestion. Put it in the comments after the live stream's over. If you do it during the live stream, maybe I remember it, maybe I don't. So let me know. All right. As per usual, rant videos for members. Well, it's a possibility. It's a possibility there, Mr. Monkey says. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Let's see here. But as I usually do, I usually start off topic on a live stream. Talk about something that's kind of outside of the spectrum of this channel. I have other interests. Spend a few moments on it. So I'm about to do that. I'm going to take a big risk here on this one. Since it is Wrestlemania weekend, got to give you my predictions. I know this is probably going to annoy the piss out of a lot of people. Not, what can I tell you? I'm a turd, okay? And I don't watch the WWE like religiously. I don't watch wrestling like I used to back in the day. But I still follow it. I probably watch more wrestling podcasts than I actually watch wrestling now. But still, I follow a lot of the storylines and things, and I do watch occasionally. So it's where I'm coming from. So we're going to start night one. Night one, Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, the Great American, a.k.a. Chad Gable. Now, they gave Gable a lot of money. They had a big press conference. Triple H, was like, hey, we're keeping Chad Gable. It was a big thing. I think El Grande Americano is going to go over. He wins. Rey Mysterio, he's pushing 60 or whatever. I mean, insane that he's still out there doing it, but he's to that point now where he's going to put people over. That's the way it is when you get old in the wrestling business. You start making other people look good. That's your job. Match 2. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Now, or Naomi. I don't know. I don't care about Naomi at all. Don't give a randy crap. But Jade Cargill, they're kind of like the Goldberg of females, dude. She's just ripping through people. She looks amazing. Probably the most stunningly beautiful woman that I've ever seen in wrestling. Pretty close to it. I'm going with Jade Cargill. They're pushing her. They got a rocket ship on her. She's going over. Match 3, War Raiders versus The New Day. Well, no one gives a damn about the War Raiders. I don't care about them at all. Maybe if I was like 12, I would care. The New Day, they're the new heels. They've been good guys forever. Now they're big heels, big bad guys. They're going to go over. They got to justify that heel thing. All right, you can't just kill them off. Next matchup. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. And Solo Sikoa is going to be in he's not in any kind of match. So you got a big star that's not in any match in any one of the days in WrestleMania. Weird, isn't it? Isn't that kind of weird? It's kind of weird, kind of strange. Now, I'll get to that. Let's give you this. LA Knight, Jacob Fatu. I got Jacob Fatu winning because they're trying to really push this guy. All right, LA Knight, I know. I don't like LA Knight that much. Now, some of his moveset is pretty cool. I like the whole, jumping from the bottom rope to the middle rope to the top rope and coming down with the big elbow. That looks cool. He's good at it. I don't like that he rips off The Rock and Stone Cold during his promos. It's annoying. But yeah, Jacob Fatu. Next, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. And I'm telling you, Charlotte Flair, I don't get it. like the whole build up to this match, Charlotte Flair has been horrible. I mean, her promo crap is like crap. I mean, bad. And look, Tiffany, she's 25. You know, she's still kind of new, still kind of green. So you understand why she's maybe not the best promo person in the world. I think I think it's Tiffany Stratton that's going to win the thing. And then Charlotte Flair goes deeper into a heel. I don't know. Then there's Gunther versus Jey Uso. It should easily be Gunther. Easily be Gunther. It's not going to. Jey Uso's really popular, sells a ton of merch. Yeet. I don't know why he's popular. I don't get it. I guess it's just a different generation of people. I don't know. Now, I like his splash from the top rope. It looks cool. Everyone has a super kick. It's like, who cares? I don't know. I don't like any of the Usos. I think they're overrated. I think most of the Samoans outside of Jacob Fatu and The Rock are kind of overrated. I don't like them. Solo, I like a little bit. I do like him. He's kind of cool, but I don't like Jey Uso, but they're going to put him over. It's going to happen. Watch. Next up, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. A lot of the people with wrestling podcasts are leaning towards Seth Rollins. I'm not. I'm saying it's going to be CM Punk. I think the real baby face in this thing, and he's going to go over. And then Roman Reigns will cost Seth Rollins the thing. Anyway, it's going to be CM Punk. Night 2, AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. It's going to be AJ Styles. If Logan Paul was like an everyday wrestler, if he was a full-time guy, it would be Logan Paul. But they ain't going to let AJ Styles lose to somebody, some internet punk who's barely there. Number 2, Liv Morgan versus Raquel. Oh, sorry. Liv Morgan. It's a tag team. Forgot. For the women's tag team titles. Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Bayley and, let me get this right, Lyra Valkyria. Okay, it's going to be Liv Morgan and Raquel. Bayley sucks. I never understood why Bayley's popular at all. And the other one I don't know at all. Liv Morgan, she's one. I mean, I don't like watching female wrestlers much, but she's actually fun to watch. She's really good. She's good on the mic. She's a good little asshole. Good freaking villain. I like her. Then there's Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I have a feeling they're going to put over Damian Priest because they keep trying to build this guy up, and he's a big dude. He kind of looks cool. He's got a good voice. His promo stuff is middle of the road. His work is kind of middle of the road. You know, he's got this his own version of the choke slam, which is whatever. Drew McIntyre, he's one of the best heels, if not the best heel in the company. Great on the mic, huge, monstrous guy, great look, great accent. Everything about Drew McIntyre screams a guy that should be the champ. I have a hard time feeling they won't put Drew over. I think that's what they should do. And if it buries Damian Priest, oh well. 4, Braun Breaker. This is like a fatal four-way, which sounds stupid. Fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker versus Penta. How's he already in this? I don't know. Versus Dominic Mysterio. Why is he in this? And versus Finn Balor. I get Finn Balor. As a matter of fact, they got Finn Balor going over and becoming the new Intercontinental Champion. They've kind of been just wasting Finn Balor. He's actually a really good wrestler. You know, he's good on the mic. He's got a good look. He's a little small, but he can be a little bastard. So, and I'm a huge Braun Breaker fan because I was a huge Steiner Brothers fan. You know, son of Rick Steiner, his uncle Scott Steiner. My favorite heel of all time is Scott Steiner. Love Braun Breaker. Finn Balor wins with the help of his teammate, Dominic Mysterio. And Braun Breaker goes on a rampage after that to get his freaking title back. And that's what I want to see. That's where the money is. And the most annoying thing about WWE right now is this next matchup, and that is Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the other women. Like, one women's championship isn't enough. You got to have two. All right. Why this is annoying. Rhea Ripley she's a monster. She's like the most athletic, the best in the ring of all the women. Absolutely the best. Her mic skills, but it's fine. She should be kind of built up like a Goldberg, just crushing people. And there's no way in hell she should have lost a title right before WrestleMania to Io freaking Sky. With a sunset flip, whatever. What is that? Oh, that's not correct. Swanton? No, it's not a swanton. Anyways, a stupid ass move by some little waif that shouldn't have been able to beat Rhea Ripley. That's where they screwed up. That's because they're trying to push Io Sky, right? I don't want to call it a DEI thing. I don't want to be that much of a prig. But it's kind of what it is. They're trying to get into the international markets more. That there's a big interest in that with the WWE. Io Sky helps that. And you could. This is the most predictable match because all the promos, right? It's Rhea and Bianca going at it, and then Io's like, "Hey, I'm the champ. Why aren't you talking to me?" So yeah, it's going to be them two beating the shit out of each other, and in the end, Io sneaks out with the title. That's what it's going to be, and get ready for it because she's going to be the champ probably for a year, if not longer. They're going to push the hell out of this woman. And she does some cool stunts and stuff, but I don't know. If you ain't good on the mic to great on the mic, I don't have time for you. And she sucks. So that takes us to the championship. Cody Rhodes versus bad guy John Cena. It's not going to be like it was last year. Last year was insanity. It was great. Last year was phenomenal. WrestleMania 40 with all the inner workings, all the stuff going on. This one's the interest is kind of dead compared to what it was. But I think they're going to do something really interesting here. This is going to be a little convoluted, but I got John Cena winning, beating Ric Flair's record, becoming the 17-time world champion with the help of The Rock. But The Rock fails to really help. He helps a little, but it doesn't do it. What really gets John Cena over is if you remember the formation of the original NWO, you have the Outsiders, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. They were invading WCW. There was a match, and they were going to have the third man. No one knew who it was. So they're, being the bad guys. They're stomping out the good guys, and here comes Hulk Hogan to rescue the day, to save the day. And then he drops the leg on Macho Man. And it's revealed he's the third man. He's the third member of the triad of the original NWO. This is what they're going to do, folks. There's going to be a big-time baby face that comes down. And everyone's like, oh, he's going to, oh my God, he's with Cena. He's with The Rock. How? Why? Woo! And so I'm thinking, who are they going to do? It's not going to be like Gunther. No, he's already a bad guy. I was thinking maybe Drew McIntyre, but again, Drew McIntyre is already a villain. There's no shock value there. That would be cheap. And it can't be like a Damian Priest, because it's got to be a good guy, a big time baby face that makes the turn. And they got to be a big enough star for it to really freaking matter. So that cuts out guys like LA Knight. That cuts out a lot of people. It leaves you with one possibility. It's going to be Seth Rollins. He's going to come down and help Cena win. That's what he's going to do. Because his mind's been screwed over, right? Because he CM Punk, the guy he hates the most, won his match, and now he's the big baby face and pisses Seth Rollins off. You can already see it. You already see a little glint of a heel turn. Everyone keeps chanting CM Punk when he's out there. I think it's going to be him. That's my prediction. That's my big prediction. And that's my overall Wrestlemania predictions. Now on to more prescient matters. Buckeye in Texas, the national champions are here. I was waiting for one day you to show the hell up. In case anyone doesn't know, he's one of these guys in my comments. Now, he's a little arrogant. He's not like a super serious prig, but he's more of a troll, which I can respect. A good troll, so I respect you there, Buckeye in Texas, for being a trollish type of person, because that's kind of what I am too. I'm a bit of a troll as well. So unlike Tar Heel, he just oozes asshole, and there's just nothing you can do about it. That's just who he is. So that's not Buckeye. All right, let's talk about Notre Dame. There has been a lot of consternation over the last few weeks about Notre Dame. I've made a video. A lot of people have made videos, live streams, everything else about Notre Dame. What are they going to do in the future? Are they going to be forced into the Big Ten? No. The answer, I'm sorry, is no. How can they satisfy NBC? Well, of course they're worried about satisfying their media partners, but has anybody heard one damn thing about NBC being dissatisfied with Notre Dame? Has that been out there? Has that been a thing? No. Actually, the only thing that's been reported is NBC's kind of a little disappointed in what they're getting out of the Big Ten. Not the Big Ten's fault, but NBC believes they should get more bigger matchups in the Big Ten than they're currently getting. It's not because the Big Ten isn't a good enough conference or anything, but there are 3 big-time media partners paying out the ass, and they want more matchups. Now, there's been some people that even say that, well, NBC wants them to join the Big Ten. No. I'm telling you right now, no. NBC does not want Notre Dame joining the Big Ten. Because what happens? What are they paying? No one really knows what NBC's paying Notre Dame, but you can bet they're paying them a lot. They're paying them a lot. And they've been paying them since what, the 50s? The 1950s? Well, like it'd be the 1850s, but so they've been business partners with them a long time. And if they join the Big Ten, all of a sudden, the content that you would see on NBC is now getting spread out to Fox and to CBS, and it's less for NBC. So that actually would hurt NBC. See what I'm getting at? They like being in the Irish business. So what they want is more Notre Dame versus Big Ten matchups on NBC. And they can get that. So, and this is why Notre Dame can still schedule Big Ten matchups in the future. And they will continue to schedule Big Ten matchups in the future because that's what NBC is paying for. That's what they want. And it's not because of their deal with Notre Dame. It's because of their deal with the Big Ten. So Notre Dame will continue to play big-time teams. Now, it won't be as many. I mean, USC every year. They're going to start playing FSU and Clemson more. Now, when FSU and Clemson, I'm going to talk about them here shortly, but when they go to one of the Big Two conferences, and yes, they're going to go to one of the big two conferences. So get it out of your head. If you're one of those people, there's just not enough value there, then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You haven't done any research. What is the value, right? I'm getting ahead of myself here. But they're going to go. And so people just assume, well, that's it. Notre Dame can't play Florida State or Clemson anymore. Really? If they go to the SEC, ESPN would love that. Because why? Because now that's Notre Dame content coming on in to ESPN, and they like it with big matchups like FSU and Clemson. Now, maybe they would have a hard time talking Alabama into playing Notre Dame, or Georgia doing a home and home, or Texas doing a home and home. And there's a lot of talk with the Big Ten and the SEC. They're going to do non-conference games. Are they going to do 3 non-conference games a year? No, it's going to be 1. So Alabama will play in rotation, probably a Big Ten team. Ohio State will play 1 SEC team during their non-conference. But there's still 2 other non-conference games out there. I know. Ooh, it's hard to justify playing Notre Dame as well. But money talks. Money talks. A lot of money to be made with Notre Dame. And if you look at the schedule, look at Texas last year, or Tennessee for that matter. Those weren't like really difficult schedules. Because you can say, oh, well, hell, man, SEC, look at this murderer's row of teams you got in the SEC. You're not going to play them every year. I mean, Texas last year played 1. If you want to consider A&M a top school, I don't. They were a middle of the road SEC team. That's what I'm talking about. The schedule wasn't rough. So have Texas played Notre Dame in non-conference and been okay? Yeah. Sometimes it'll bite you in the ass, but not always. Not always. There's no divisions anymore. So it's a rotation. That's what the media partners want. So you have to ask yourself, so why is Notre Dame going to be forced to join the Big Ten? When that's not what NBC wants. People keep forgetting that there's these big media partners out there paying billions of dollars. Like, they have no say. They have to fork over the money. And they got no say? There's a reason there's no divisions in the SEC anymore. And it's not because of the SEC. It's not because of Sankey. Because ESPN said, hey, no more divisions. We want to be able to schedule these bigger matchups more often. And there's going to be 4 AQ spots. It's going to happen. They're going to have 4 in the playoffs every year. At least 4. Them and the Big Ten. So you can afford to play these bigger non-conference games. You can afford to have a loss. You can afford to have 2. Hell, you would have Alabama in the playoff this year if they had 4 automatic qualifiers with 3 losses. Even to Vanderbilt. So Notre Dame independence is not going anywhere. But what if the ACC goes down? Well, for some reason, all the Big Ten people think that there's no way in hell the Big Ten would do a scheduling agreement like with the ACC. You know, all of Notre Dame sports goes into the Big Ten, and they play 5 games with the Big Ten every year. Why you wouldn't do that, I don't know. I think that's ridiculous. But that's been the rumor for a long time, that there's no way the Big Ten will do that. They're all or nothing. I've heard the same thing with the SEC. They're all or nothing. They'll take Notre Dame, but they won't do a ACC deal. I don't know how true that is. But if it is true, well, the Big 12 absolutely will. And the Big 12 will get them paid. Probably double what they get out of the ACC right now. because it's worth it. It's worth it to ESPN. It's worth it to Fox. Hell, NBC wouldn't mind that either. Doesn't threaten any of their stuff. Oh, excuse me. I know what you're going to say. Who cares if they play UCF or Houston or Cincinnati? Yeah, but it'll be nice eyeballs when they play Tennessee. Or sorry, when they play TCU or when they play BYU. And there's people that poo-poo that. Like, oh, they don't need to be playing BYU anymore. Are you kidding me? That's a monster game. Because you got two active fan bases that watch. National, international fan bases that watch, that support their schools. It's a great matchup. Notre Dame versus Colorado. Even versus Utah or Arizona State. That sells. Versus Kansas State. Tech. Yeah. So the money would be there. They're going to be able to stay independent in perpetuity if they would like. Because they make money. They're still extraordinarily relevant. They just played for a national title. The inaugural 12-team playoff. The first real playoff. And yeah, Ohio State kicked their ass. But Ohio State was kicking everybody's ass. So yeah, Notre Dame will stay independent. I have heard no logical reasons why. Only that, how are they going to satisfy NBC? NBC is already satisfied. Only thing that we know is Bavakwa, their new AD, there at Notre Dame. He's the one that's worried about satisfying NBC. Have heard crickets, nothing about NBC being dissatisfied. Why would they be dissatisfied? Did you see the ratings of a Notre Dame versus Army? Notre Dame versus Navy? They're freaking huge freaking ratings. Oh, but it's just the Army. It's just Navy. Well, those matchups probably aren't going anywhere, especially with Navy. So a little too much history there. See, Buckeye, always working, but love your show. Well, I appreciate that, Buckeye. Can't have us on big noon every week. No, can't do that. Almighty Finn, what's up, No Skull? Where FSU going, in your honest opinion? I'm gonna get there. About to get there right now. Almighty Finn, Notre Dame got that NBC deal in 1990. From what I read, they started doing stuff with NBC in the 50s, like a long time ago. I mean, maybe, I don't know, they started having games played on NBC anyway. 50s, 60s, somewhere in there. Maybe that information was wrong, Ben. John Dry, do you think only BAP3, or do you see there being more picking off of most of the Big 12? I don't see any more picking off of the Big 12. Who's going to pick them off? I mean, you need to ask Buckeye in Texas there, right? Big time Big Ten guy, super arrogant. Ask him. Kansas doesn't have the value for the Big Ten. I'm sorry. And I love them. They're a stalwart here in the Big 12, but their football viewership is not where it needs to be. It's not where it needs to be. So let's go to FSU. I mean, we got people talking Kansas or TCU to the SEC or to the Big Ten, but FSU's not going to get in. What? Look, I don't know how many of you guys watch what is it, College Football Mafia? I like those guys. They're one of the YouTube channels I follow and I watch on a consistent basis. And Wild U puts out some good information. In viewership over the last decade or whatever. If you put that up, not last year, 2023 and before, he showed a graphic. Of course, they're the top team in viewership in the ACC. In the Big Ten, they would be the number 3 school. In the SEC, they'd be the number 4 school. UNC isn't even. They would be like 3rd from the bottom in the Big Ten. They would be like, oh my God, almost all the way at the bottom in the SEC. And people still think realignment. This current, former realignment, shit that happened years and years ago, decades ago, different stories, different economics. Present time. What's driving this? A big part of it is going to be a big move to streaming. That's what's driving a shit ton of it. How do you make money with streaming? It's not based on what state you're in. It's not. Oh, we got to get those carriage fees. Well, there's not any carriage fees when it comes to streaming. And don't give me YouTube TV or Hulu Live. That's not true streaming. That's basically another cable provider. So yeah, there's carriage fees with that. And that stuff isn't that big. People don't, because it's just like cable. You have DVR, you have record stuff. Streaming, Netflix, Amazon, things like that. ESPN Plus. That's where the future is. There'll be no carriage fees associated with it. ESPN is going to go straight to consumer, right? They're going to be a streamer only. Eventually, they're going to cut out their linear product. You won't find ESPN on any cable package or any satellite package. You won't be able to get ESPN on YouTube TV or Hulu Live or any of that. All right, it'll be like Netflix for sports, ESPN Plus. They make their money 2 ways. 2 ways. Number 1, and the biggest one, subscriptions. Number 2, advertisers. There will still be commercials, but there won't be any carriage fees. So it doesn't make a randy shit what state you're in. Now, North Carolina is a good state for advertisers. Not as good as Florida. When people say that, hey, these 2 conferences want North Carolina more than anybody else. That's based from sources working on old information. Well, Mr. Delaney, former commissioner of the Big Ten, was chasing North Carolina forever. Yeah, he was. And now you got a TV guy in there named Petiti who knows this shit is a TV show. That's what he knows. He's got to work with his media partners to produce the best possible TV show for their audience. And the one that draws the most interest. FSU draws interest. They draw money. North Carolina, they're not in the shits. It's not UVA. And I've heard that, UVA is going to go to the SEC. Bullshit. Mark my words. They'll never sniff either one of the big 2. UVA, have you seen that viewership? You might as well send an invite to Middle Tennessee. You might as well send an invite to South Alabama. You might as well send an invite to the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana, because the Ragin' Cajuns get better viewership than Virginia does. Marshall. You would be better off with Memphis. Way better off with Memphis if you're the SEC than Virginia. No. Give me Memphis and FedEx money all day long over UVA. It's a joke. And Thomas Jefferson can kiss my ass. Or whoever that, early president was that's, famously went there. I think it's Thomas Jefferson. Oh, sounds right. But yeah. No, it's not happening. Not happening. Dude, I don't know if I'm the Big 12 and I have a chance at Virginia. I don't know that I want Virginia. Are you kidding me? Cincinnati gets better ratings than that shit. I don't give a damn how legendary they are. Legendary suckage. No. All right. Now let me get caught up on some comments here. Almighty Finn, trust me, Notre Dame in the 70s and 80s, Notre Dame was playing on CBS. They got a deal with in 1990. Look it up. All right. All right, Almighty Finn. Don't bury me just yet. Mr. Monkey says, as a Kansas fan, I'm beginning to think our window passed. Now it's time to eat the upper crust of the ACC. And here's your quote, Mr. Monkey says, that you put in there with Greg Flugar. And he didn't have a retort for you. I love Greg Flugar. I'm a big fan of Greg Flugar, but I don't agree with everything he says. Well, here's your quote. I wrote it down. I paused the live stream and I wrote it down because I thought it was that damn good. The pack in the ACC falling apart may be great for the Big 12, but I'm beginning to think it was also, sorry, I screwed up your quote there. But I'm beginning to think it also freezes Kansas and some others out of the Big 2. There are only so many chairs. Thank you, Mr. Monkey says, and you're absolutely right. The only way this works, this is why everyone's going to 24. Oh, the SEC is going to get 24. The Big 10 is going to get 24. Now, remember, a while back, when the pack first fell apart and then everyone started moving their gaze over to ACC land, oh, they're, the SEC, the Big 10, they're going to go to 24. They're going to go to 28. They're going to go to 30 schools apiece. No, they're not. They're not. Listen to Greg Sankey when he talks about Super League. It's not up to us to come down to everyone else's level. They got to come up to our level. Meaning, he's not going to accept what he considers lower level schools within the conference. Kansas, great school. Great school, legendary basketball. Football, they've been a doormat for a long time. Now they've gotten better. I think they got a good coach. I think they got a good quarterback. I think they got he had a kind of a piss poor start to the year last year. But then Kansas kind of came on at the end of the year. Started looking like the Kansas we all thought. I think Kansas is going to be back next year in football in the Big 12. I think they're going to be competitive. I think they're going to be one of the teams, at the final quarter of the season are going to be in the mix for the conference championship game. And the ratings have been started to come up, have been good. But that's the last couple of years. Look at it before then. Football ratings, disaster. And that's with Texas and OU in the conference. And it's not just the SEC. Everyone keeps thinking, well, what's the SEC going to do? What's the Big 10 going to do? What do their media partners want? Media partners, especially when it comes to ESPN, they need subscribers for their new business model later on. They need to be able to charge premium money to their advertisers, which means you got to have a lot of eyeballs on your product. UNC doesn't provide that. UVA sure as shit doesn't provide it. And I'm sorry. Kansas kind of doesn't either. They don't. Good ratings, quality ratings. It's good. For what the Big 12 is, it's fine. It really, it's fine. It's good ratings for what we are. I'm not trying to shit on the Big 12 either. All right. We're undervalued. We have better ratings than people think. But you have to look at the SEC. Look at the ratings that Missouri gets. They're tier 2 in their conference. Arkansas, even Mississippi State has got some decent ratings in there. Yeah, it's kind of, they've been really sucky lately, but when they're good, they come up. Well, that's kind of true of everybody mostly. But yeah, Arkansas has got pretty damn good ratings. Missouri's pretty, pretty high up there. Much less talking about the Alabamas, Georgias, and Texas, and OU, or LSU, or any of those. So, Kansas kind of doesn't fit. Well, they need people to beat every year. No, this shit ain't about winning. You got plenty of teams in the SEC that can win it all. Plenty of programs that have won it all. They don't need a doormat. They don't need usually a wrestling term, jobber. They don't need a jobber. No, they need another big star. Someone with a big draw. That's FSU. Like I said, if they joined today, historically, they would have the 4th highest audience of every team in the SEC, every program in the SEC. If they joined the Big Ten, they would be the 3rd biggest draw outside of Ohio State and Michigan. Better than Penn State, better than USC, better than Oregon, better than Washington, better than Nebraska, better than Wisconsin, better than everybody other than those two. So, who's the linchpin of the next round of realignment? It's FSU. It's UNC. Folks, you're going to find out. You're going to F around and find out that your homeboy here, Mr. Numbskull News, is dead ass right. Because all of the data says it's FSU is the first domino. All other realignment will come after FSU. With UNC, it's not only a viewership problem, it's a political problem. The Board of Governors problem. So, and they're trying to do everything they can to keep them in the ACC. The Board of Governors does not want UNC to leave the ACC. They're going to I have to look it up. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. Did that legislation in North Carolina pass with the whole gambling thing, where like UNC was going to get some insane amount of money per year, like $30 million a year, just off the gambling thing. Not any money they have to share with any other ACC school. That's their money. NC State getting the same money. I'm hoping somebody in the comments can tell me, maybe somebody from that part of the world. But they're trying to get them all the money they can to keep them in the ACC, at least till 2036. To me, that's the chalk that they're not going to leave. And they'll make enough money that they'll be okay to stay. Now, everybody around them, probably not. But since when does UNC care about everybody around them? Agreed, only so many seats. In my humble opinion, I think P3 and possibly breaking away in all sports from everyone else. I don't know if that's going to happen there, John Dry. I know a lot of people want to talk about a breakaway, but I don't know. I don't know. That it's like a Super League thing. I don't know. I think it's a 50-50 that a Super League happens Pretty far down the road, though. I don't know if everyone's ready for it. I don't know if the Big Ten and the SEC are ready for it. It sounds like they're not. So I'm just, I'm going to, when there's like real legitimate smoke, not just hypothetical smoke. Now, is that smoke in the distance? But when it's right there, just wafting in your face, then I'll probably make some videos talking real serious about it. But when that iceberg is thousands of miles out, I can talk about it a little bit. I'll make a video once in a while, highly speculative video, of course. But we'll see. I think KU was going to be a top candidate. Then the pack broke up, and took 4 P2 seats. Now the ACC will break up and take 4+ seats, and Notre Dame might need a seat. You are right, Mr. Monkey says. Very wise. It's a logical conclusion that you came to. So, absolutely. John Dry, I think the P3 should break away from the ACC is eaten by the P3. It could, but I'm not sure. It could. Oh, you got the rant. You got the rant. UVA athletics could disappear, and I wouldn't know the difference. You know what? The people there at UVA wouldn't know the difference either. The people in the state of Virginia wouldn't know. If Virginia Tech went away, they would probably notice. But Virginia, probably not. They'll just start watching Maryland. Yes, sir. Thank you. Almighty Finn. UVA is damn near a backpack, at least a purse for UNC. But that's the thing. UNC doesn't have the shoulders for that backpack. It's a lot of weight. Notre Dame's buff, man. They got a backpack for days. One of them big army backpacks, 80-pound jobs. They can put a lot in there. But people keep thinking UNC is like Notre Dame. Oh, it's two very different brands. Two very different values. You're talking academics, maybe UNC's greater than. I think a lot of people would say that. But in athletics, no. Football, no. Notre Dame's got the history. They got a trophy case packed full of trophies. John Dry, he's pulling Mrs. Levitt, bringing a receipt. Buckeye in Texas. Kansas is brand 26 in the P2. When nobody is left, you look at the leftovers. But here's the thing, Buckeye. The Big Ten, Fox, NBC, and CBS, the SEC and ESPN, they're not looking for leftovers. They want premium teams, premium programs, premium brands for a handful of spots that are left. There's not many. Neither conference is going over 20 teams. Maybe 21 for the Big Ten if they can get Notre Dame. They may just add Miami and be done. The chalk for me, the SEC go to 18 and stop. They're going to jump all over Florida State and Clemson. ESPN wants them. They want them. I want to cover one more little thing here. Clemson. And I know Buckeye, there's no way in hell Clemson ever goes there. And you may be right. And I'm sure a lot of the Big Ten leadership feel that way. Their media partners don't. The media partners don't. And they want more premium matchups. You only got so many. Like I said, it wouldn't be a big deal if it was only Fox, if it was only NBC or only CBS, like it is with the SEC, where it's only ESPN. Plenty of premium matchups. But in the Big Ten, there's not enough to go around. You only get Ohio State versus Michigan one time. Once a year, that's all you get. Penn State versus somebody. USC versus somebody. There's only so many of those big-time matchups. The biggest of the big matchups. There's only so many. It's not enough. Not enough. And you got what? 12 weeks? So you need more. You need more. And again, UNC and UVA doesn't cut that mustard, does it? No. Sure doesn't. You know who does? Florida State, Clemson, and Miami. Now, you may say, well, Florida State, fine. Miami, fine. I do believe Fox and the other media partners have talked to the Big Ten presidents and said, hey, I know you're probably a hard no on Clemson, but it solves some of our problems. Because CBS, I believe they're bitching. NBC has come from multiple sources, not my sources, but it's been reported in multiple different places that they are bitching about their Big Ten content. So Fox has to solve that because they license the content to NBC and CBS. They pay out the ass for the content. They're customers of Fox. So Fox has to satisfy those customers. There's only because ESPN's not going to pay that amount because they knew they weren't going to get the premium matchups to justify the money. That's why they didn't do it. They've been in the game long enough and they're the worldwide leader. They know. Like how many media partners? I don't know how many times we want Rutgers versus Purdue. I don't know how many times we want that matchup. Because we're not going to get Ohio State versus Michigan. That's going to go to Fox. Everybody else is getting everything else. Nebraska gets good ratings. But Nebraska versus Maryland, it's not going to blow our doors off. It's not worth the money. So what do? You got to satisfy them. You got to add teams that add the premium matchups to satisfy your media partners. And if you want that big fat raise in 2030, you got to provide the value for it. UNC does not provide the value for that. Notre Dame does. Miami can. FSU can. And Clemson can. There's 4 possible ads right there. As I said earlier, I don't believe Notre Dame is going to be a possible ad. This is why no one's trying to really push them out of the CFP or anything else. They know they're hard-headed, and they're not going to do it. They make enough money. They got playoff access. They're not going to do it. So you're looking at the top brands of the ACC. Football brands, because Fox isn't paying for your AAU status. They're not paying for your research. Oh, research is so much more money. Okay. Then you take your research money and you go pay for UNC or you go pay for Virginia. If it means so much to you, you pay for it. There ain't no pro rata in that Fox deal with the Big Ten. There's no pro rata. Fox ain't paying for shit they don't have to pay for. Period. If it doesn't make financial sense, if they can't get a return on investment, ROI, they need that. Because they're investing $1 billion a year. And they'll probably be investing more than that. So they got to have the money. They got to have the matchups for the money. Clemson is one of those teams that can provide it. That's why they're saying, hey, think about Clemson. It would solve some problems here. I know you got a problem with the AAU and all that. Y'all work that shit out. Because if you want to be on the big boys table and you're there, you got one of the big 2 seats. The reason you have it is because we or paying you to have it. So this is how it's going to work with the next wave of realignment, whether that's ESPN, whether that's Fox, but especially Fox. Fox is going to give them a list. Here's the teams we want to add and go for. This is what solves problems for us. In the SEC, a lot of people say, what's the new territory? Like I said, with ESPN, new territory, they don't give a damn about new territory. It ain't even about that. What it is about is protecting the territory that you have. That's what they want. They don't want their territories getting diluted by Fox. That's how they would see it, as a dilution. And the protectionism in the SEC, that's underreported. So, yeah, they're going to make a hard push for Florida State and Clemson. They'll let Miami go. They'll let the private school down there in Miami. Because Miami, you talk about, Clemson is a culture fit. From everything I've heard from SEC people, Clemson is a culture fit into the SEC, perfect fit. So is FSU. But Miami, it's kind of like Austin in Texas. It's all the sea of red and the island of blue. I'm not saying it's the same thing, Miami, but Miami's it's definitely its own universe down there in the surrounding areas. It's its own universe. And I think it has a lot of appeal to the Big Ten, a lot of appeal to Fox. So when I hear Mr. Flugar reporting on that, it makes nothing but logical sense. So I'm on board. If it doesn't make logical sense, I'm not on board. You know what makes logical sense? UNC going to the Big 12. I'm not saying they want to go. No more than Utah wanted to go. No more than Arizona State wanted to go. But they went. There comes a time when you're just out of choices. You still want to play with the big boys. You still want to be in an autonomous conference. You want that playoff access. You want all the things that come with it. You want the attention. Still get that in the Big 12. You don't get that in the Big East. You don't get that in the American or the Mountain West or the new Pac. You won't get it in whatever the new ACC is going to be, because it's going to be essentially a tier down from the Big 12. That's what's coming for their ass. So, do I still give Clemson a big shot at the Big Ten? I don't. As I said, underdog. I think a breaking case of emergency. Maybe a 5% chance, and that's high. That's pretty high. I'm being optimistic. More than likely, right into the arms of ESPN and the SEC. That's the future for Clemson, if you ask me. Let's see here. What do we got here? Mr. Monkey says, I thought you were going to quote what I said about part of Utah's Big 12 angst, being that they have to compete directly with BYU again and not wanting to take regular losses to BYU. No, it wasn't that. But future video announcement. Forgot about that one. There will be a Utah video coming, and it will be rant heavy. Rant heavy there for you, Mr. Monkey says. Sorry, I'm trying to go through. I'm about to shut the live stream off, so I'm trying to get to comments here. Bagman, thank you for being here. Gnome Beard. John Dry, Texas Tech is 32 in value according to their last evaluation. That might be going up depending on what they do. Buckeye in Texas, the Big Ten presidents will have a say. Trust me. Of course they have a say. I'm not saying they don't have a say. Of course they have a say. But everyone's forgetting about the media partners like they don't have a say. They got a big, major freaking say in who's going to get added, who won't. More won't. But they'll put out the choices. Hey, these are who we're cool with, and that's it. Fox will go to the Big Ten and say, look, Florida State, Clemson, Miami. And of course, if Notre Dame's an instant ad whenever they want to come. But those three, pick one, pick two. That's who we're going with. And nobody else. That's the power of the media companies. Now, the presidents can say, well, we really want UNC. Then you pay for the shit then. They come. It's your conference. They can come in there, but it's going to be on your dime. It's not going to be on ours. We're not going to pay one damn dollar to add UNC, to add Virginia, or anyone else other than Florida State, Clemson, and Miami. We will pay a full share for them because they solve our problems. UNC presents more problems. Doesn't solve shit. Mr. Monkey says everyone would get a ratings boost being in the SEC. Stop saying good things about Missouri. Yes, I'm sorry there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jayhawk fan. But not anybody would get a ratings boost. I mean, maybe in the SEC. You might be a little something there too with there, Mr. Monkey says. John Dry, LOL, I agree BYU is better than Utah in almost everything. Utah's a hell of a school. I'm not crapping on Utah for not being a hell of a school. They are. And, they got in athletics and football, not in basketball. Not in basketball, but football, they got a nice history. They're a winner most of the time. Last year, first year of the Big 12, that's a match. Mr. Monkey says, low key, the linchpin might be Louisville. These ACC teams on the edge must be looking at the 4 seats in the Big 12 and want to be sure to land in one of them. Well, that's also speculation that there's only going to be 4 seats. Maybe at first, it might be 2 seats in 2030, 31. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than 4 ACC teams that end up in the Big 12 by 2036. But by 2030, 31, it might only be 4. And yes, Louisville will be, to me, it's after the Florida State, after the Clemson. But that's, to me, there's multiple linchpins. I think FSU starts it off. But as far as people wanting to jump after that, Louisville's the next one. Buckeye in Texas, not done yet. Past the NC House and going to the NC State, going to the NC Senate, I believe. Okay. Well, it got through one. And if that passes, UNC ain't going nowhere. Not until 2036. That's other people think, well, that'll pay for their, their exit fee. You realize how much money they're spending on athletics right now? Money they don't have at UNC? A lot of money. Bill Belichick is hellaciously expensive. And it's pissing people off. The faculty, the staff, the academic side of the university's pissed at all the money they're spending. So this new money that's going to be coming in, I know it's designated a lot for athletics. But they're going to have to pay for facilities. They're going to have to pay for their coach. So I don't know how much of that is going to exit. And I have a feeling with the board of governors, with the politicians there, if they get that passed, it is for one purpose and one purpose only, to keep the ACC, as far as the North Carolina group of schools, together. That's what it's for. Friction Hitch. BYU is better than Utah. How? B word. Well, for right now, they are. Right now, BYU's got their number. But that could change year to year. Friction Hitch. Yes, academics matter so much that That's why the Ivy League is going to get invited to the Big Ten. Should have put a little smiley face on there, Friction. John Dry, I agree. Buckeye in Texas. So I agree with you, but if somehow Notre Dame joins, we take a Duke, Stanford, or Georgia Tech, but 22 is max. The one thing is with the Big Ten, it'll be 2. Well, it won't go more than 2. I'll put it that way. It could be just 1. Could be just 1. But like you said, with Notre Dame, that opens up other possibilities. I have to say that. Rye Guy 1218. I don't think the Big Ten ever wanted Utah. Yeah, I don't think so either. I knew that rumor of Utah going to the Big Ten was BS. Why would we add them? I don't know. because Utah wants you to. Utah wants you to. Well, speaking facts, of course, it's all I speak. Friction Hitch. Doesn't seem like a lot is going to happen in and around 2030 where there still be conferences then. Do they all expire around the same time for a reason? I don't think so. I think if Super League happens, it happens down the road from that. I just don't. It's the way it looks. That's a little soon. It's only 5 years away. I don't know. All right. The takeover of the CFP will force Notre Dame to join. Will take a lot more than just FSU and Clemson. Last thing, and I do have to go, guys. Sorry about that. But Notre Dame will join when it's a Super League. I do believe that. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. It's been awesome. I do got to go. Wife's calling. Don't want to get in trouble. I want to get some. Take it easy. I'll see you later. Bye.